Home for picks, props, and futures for tonight's action. Bettor Sports Betting wants to know what picks you're playing tonight. Tell us in the live chat on YouTube, Twitter, and the Bettor Sports Network app. This is Bettor Sports Betting with Fantasy Alarm's Dan Servodidio.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome in here to the Bettor Sports Betting Show on Fantasy Alarm and Bettor Sports Network, YouTubes, wherever you guys are watching. Appreciate you joining in on a Monday afternoon. Got Howard Bender in here with me. What's up, Howard? How you doing?
What is going on, Dan Servodidio? Now, you might have thought that you were going to walk in and see me pay off on a losing bet with like a big blueberry pie, but I have not been able to get to the store yet, Dan.
Okay.
So I'm going tonight after the SiriusXM show, and on Wednesday's pre-Thanksgiving show, you and I going to do that whole, Thanksgiving Day slate and make those picks against the spread and props and all that fun stuff there for Turkey Day. I will be doing it with a blueberry ring around my mouth as I'll scarf down. I feel like I should do, based off of our chat's comments, like the 9-inch pie, and just sit here with like a fork the entire show and just eat for the full, 40 minutes or whatever.
Someone did suggest you eat an entire pie, so we'll see if that happens, or if you just have a slice. But I knew I wasn't worried about you not paying up the bet. We pay off our bets on this show. I lost last week and I did it, and you'll be doing it this week. So, but I don't know if I want to place any bets on tonight's show, tonight's game, because I got my Eagles. I'm rocking the little Kelly Green here. But the Eagles Chiefs night should be an awesome Monday Night Football game. We will break down here. What's this? Oh, the Taylor Swift shirt is on.
Right? She might not be at the game, but
I've
Swift
heard she
will
won't
be there in spirit.
I've kind of seen that she won't, right? She had a concert postponed, rescheduled, so it looks like she won't be.
She's going to tune into the Bettor cast tonight.
Oh, she will.
And watch the game that way. So if you want, you go to the Bettor cast, download the Bettor cast app. It's free. All right. And, you just go in, you chat, you play all these prop games, you answer all these questions, you score points for right answers, you turn those points into tickets, and those tickets are redeemable for free sports, autographed sports, memorabilia, all sorts of stuff that we have there. There is a chance that Taylor Swift is in that BettorCast app tonight. I can neither confirm nor deny that I have texted with her about this evening's activity.
There we go. So that's tonight. We will be giving out some of our player props, predictions, best bets for tonight's game in just a sec here. If you got any of your own, throw them in the chat, as always, because we like to see what everyone else has riding. If you agree or disagree with us, if you got any pie bets you want to throw out there for us, maybe a little pie bet. But I'll be giving out some college basketball picks, too, for Monday night as well. So stay tuned for that. We got awesome. It's feast week in college basketball. I don't know if you've heard how we got these little tournaments going on all across the country, the world. We got some of the top teams playing each other, and we got a really good slate tonight. So I'll give some picks out. Got to review how Sunday went for us in week 11 betting. This is all the picks we gave out on Friday's show. As always, we review them on Monday, see how we did, who won, who lost. The game that we had the bet on, the blueberry cherry pie bet, was Giants Commanders, and the Giants did end up winning outright. They covered that +10. I did not think they would win the game outright, but I'll take it. So that's like
survivor pools everywhere.
Crushed people.
I love it.
Tommy DeVito out of nowhere.
I had the Texans.
Well, the Texans won, right?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't care that the Giants won outright. Listen, the Giants winning outright, Servo, does more for me than you could even possibly know. I mean, first and foremost, I have to eat a whole blueberry pie, right? My wife is a diehard Giants fan. So she was in the best mood yesterday, the absolute best mood. And I had the Texans in survivor pools everywhere. So
And
so most people got knocked out in both my survivor
there you
pools.
go.
Like 25% to 30% of the field just got wiped out.
I bet a lot of people also had the Lions, and the Bears almost won, almost beat the Lions in that game. But I was going to say also, you had, even though you picked the Texans in your survivor, you had the Cardinals plus the 5.5, and that was a winning bet there. They get the cover, even though they lose just by 5. So you covered there. Some of your other wins and losses here. We got Brock Purdy, Trevor Lawrence. Break it down for us. What went right? What went wrong yesterday?
All right. Well, we'll start with the Cardinals. Cardinals couldn't make it easy on me, right? They couldn't, I'm glad they didn't win it outright because I had the Texans in survivor pool, but they could have at least, made that, 2-point conversion and at least given me a little bit of a cushion so that I wasn't going to freak out. But,
Yeah.
Solid pick there. We knew it was going to be a close game. We knew there was going to be back and forth. We didn't know CJ Stroud was going to throw 72 picks in the second half, but that's a different story. So that went right for me. Brock Purdy rocking the passing yards. He had a phenomenal game against Tampa Bay. Again, you target against that Tampa Bay defense, So when you've got a quarterback who's facing Tampa Bay, I'm trying to think of who it is. I think it's Gardner Minshew maybe next week. Whoever it is, I'm in on their passing yards prop. I'm in on that. So Brock Purdy killed it. Trevor Lawrence had an amazing game. That went right for me. My touchdown parlay that was garbage. The Broncos won outright, but they did not cover the spread. They did have to come from behind on that one. So
And they kicked 7 field goals, didn't they?
Oh, dude, please. They did. They kicked 7 field goals and then had a late Cortland Sutton touchdown, which, saved the day there. But yeah, that was a tough one, man. It was, I knew the Broncos were going to win. I probably was better off just doing the money line, but I got a little cocky and I gave the 2.5 points because that's what I had said. I had tweeted that out. And then Sam Laporta took a dump on himself. Well, Jared Goff really did. Goff was terrible. He threw 3 interceptions. Laporta did not make his over 4.5 receptions. That was a bummer. So between my props and everything like that, it was a little bit losing. But I was also, as we said during the last game, I was in on 1, 2, 3 of your props that you were 3 of your bets that you did, or 4 actually, 4 of them. So I did win.
You did say that on Friday's show, and that's what it made me feel a bit better. And I mean, if I didn't throw them out on Friday, you would have thrown out these 2. So maybe not the Giants plus 10, right? But
no.
The Steelers Browns, you said you were in on that one, and that went pretty much exactly how I thought it would go. Just the low scoring defensive AFC North battle for sure. The Giants we touched on. The Dolphins, the Raiders played them a lot tougher than I thought. And they actually had a chance. There was a play in the fourth quarter, a possible scoop and score that actually would have covered the spread if the guy, the Dolphins defensive player, returned it for a touchdown. But I think he just fell on the fumble. Didn't get to return.
I was praying for that too.
Yeah, that was close. By the way, on your bet from last night, the Broncos, they get that touchdown, that Cortland Sutton touchdown, and then they went for 2 to make it a 3-point game. And if they would have gotten that, they would have covered. I was counting on that one because I thought it was coming, but yeah, they also they kicked 4 or 5 field goals before that anyway. So you would have thought that one of those, if that's a touchdown, then they cover easy. But the Justin Fields one, I thought he'd be running more first game back, and was right about that one. And they made that a game against the Lions too. Almost pulled out the win. Derrick Henry was a loss. Once the Titans got down early against the Jaguars, I just kind of counted as a early loss because they were just going to throw more. We're not going to give the ball as much to Henry. I was kind of counting on the Titans making it close, in the first half, feed Henry a lot to keep it lower scoring, keep the ball out of the Jags' hands, but they got down early, and that was kind of a loss early. Kincaid, thought he'd be, as involved as he's been over the last few games, and I think he had 6 catches, so he went over this. You were on the Bobby Okereke tackles and assist prop, so you were with me on that one, and that cashed. And then Tank Dell, he got in the end zone with Noah Brown out. It was a lot of Tank Dell in that game. He had a long touchdown catch from CJ Stroud before he started to throw picks. But so it was a pretty good day. But I'm glad I got your approval on some of these on Friday, because it feel a little bit better going into tonight for Monday Night Football.
Yeah, listen, I was in on the Dolphins losing, the Dolphins covering the spread also. I was in on that, but I was in on Steelers Brown on the under.
Yep.
Justin Fields, the over 48.5. I was in on the Kincaid receptions and the Bobby is it Okereke?
I don't know.
Either way.
I don't know.
I think it's Okereke, but so either way, I love him so much. He definitely did not disappoint. So I was in on all of those. That we did, and I posted it all over. The ones that I was in on the most, I posted it all over in our best bets article for the game. So listen, solid week, man. Very, very solid week with some very interesting stuff going on in the NFL.
Yeah, it was an entertaining weekend for sure in the NFL, in college too. On Saturday, gave out some winners on Thursday's show, some losers too, but gave out a couple winners there, so that was good. It was fun weekend in football, and we wrap it up tonight. We got Monday Night Football here, and by the way, for tonight's game, we got the DFS playbook, showdown playbook over on Fantasy Alarm. We have sleeper underdog picks up on Fantasy Alarm. Obviously, all the tools for Fantasy Alarm, and you get all this with the All Pro subscription. Whether you're doing DFS betting, we got Howard's Best Bets article up live right now.
Boy.
We got every other sport too. I mean, there's an NBA Best Bets article for tonight. I got a college basketball DFS picks article up right now on Fantasy Alarm, so you can check all this out. All Pro subscription, fantasyalarm.com/let's go to get all of that. All right, Monday Night Football here. Chiefs Eagles, gonna be an awesome game to watch. I think even. If you're not a Chiefs or Eagles fan, but 2.5 is the spread here, 45.5 over under on BetMGM. I'll let you tackle this first, because I'm try not to bring my bias into this, but
and I totally get that. I totally respect that. I
want to hear your unbiased opinion of this game.
I mean, my unbiased opinion is that I don't want to bet this game against the spread. I don't even, because I don't have a personal interest in it. I don't really, this is one of those games that I like to enjoy. Maybe I'll throw some player props in there if I'm feeling like, I got an itch to scratch, but overall, no, not, this isn't really something that does it for me. But I mean, here are the numbers. You ready for this one? So against the spread right now, the Chiefs are 6-3 against the spread on the season. They're 4-1 against the spread, both at home and over their last 5. So both of that. So 4-1 on that. The Eagles are 5-2-2 against the spread on the season. They're 3-1-1 against the spread, both on the road and over their last 5 games as well. Oh, they're 3-1-1. Yeah. So, it doesn't really give you, there's no trend or anything that you're sitting here and you're following. So, and then you look at the if you want to look at the trend of favorites being 8-4 straight up, 6-4-2 against the spread. To me, these are two teams that are very evenly matched. I side, because of that, I side on the coaching side of things. I look at this, it's like Eagles have a great run defense, phenomenal offensive line, good protection, blah, 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 blah. Chiefs run defense, their pass defense has been really, really good. The Eagles' pass defense has been really, back and forth. You can go with both of these teams. So, it's you're really just trying to micromanage it. So because that, I feel like these are two very even teams, I look to the coaching. And I like Andy Reid more than I like Nick Sirianni. It's not that I don't like, it's not like, hey, I got a red and a blue tie for Christmas. I go downstairs wearing the blue one and my wife's like, what? You don't like the red? Like, it's not like that. I like Andy Reid more. I like his experience more. And I think that if, for in-game adjustments, I think Andy Reid is the guy who I want to side with. So it is the home team. The trends do tilt towards the home team covering the spread a little more than they don't. And so that's where I'm at with this one here. Again, this is just a game that I really just want to enjoy watching. Like, we don't really get a lot of primetime games that are just like, damn, these are two really just great teams. Good even match.
Yeah. I mean, to your point about the coaching angle, Andy Reid 4-0 straight up against the Eagles since he left the Eagles as the head coach when they've been obviously the Super Bowl, but the other few matchups that they've played when he's been at the Chiefs. So they've yet to get the best of their former head coach, which I thought was pretty interesting. Listen, this game, I think one of the bets you're on, in terms of over-under, I do think it's going to be lower scoring in general. These are two really good defenses, and I think like the first half for sure, once we get both offenses trying to figure out, all right, what works, what's going to be working, the Eagles probably, both teams coming off a bye week too, which is very notable for this game, just like both fresh legs on defense. I think there's going to be a lot of game planning to what's all right. Eagles going to be ready for Rashee Rice now because he's kind of taken teams by surprise in the early weeks. Obviously, Kelsey too. But, I think on the Eagles, on the Chiefs side, they're gonna be ready for A.J. Brown. They're not going to let him beat them because we saw a similar thing with the Cowboys in that last game, Eagles-Cowboys, where they were making sure A.J. Brown was not going to be dominating the game. So I feel like it's going to be adjustments for sure. And I think the first half, if you want to look at like the first half under, I think is a way to go here. But I think one thing that you'll probably touch on in a sec here, these Monday Night Football primetime unders, it's just been like, what is with this? It's just like it keeps cashing, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know what it is. I mean, like with Thursday night, the short week, I get it. They're like teams might be a little sluggish on Thursday night, but actually the over-under has kind of been, I think the under is slightly favored, on Thursday Night Football. That's where the overs have hit, if they have hit. I mean, look, the
on
number
Thursday
here,
nights.
That's Thursday. That's the short week. Maybe that's why. Monday Night
Yeah.
Football, I don't know, man. But the under's 11-1 on Monday Night Football this year. It's 25-8 in primetime games. 16 of the last 18 primetime games have all gone under. So,
Wow.
I mean, again, it's not a great bet. It's minus 110. You want to go over, you want to go under. I mean, it's a 50-50 shot, where all the data so far is pointing you towards that under. So, I mean, you could try and be contrarian and, think that these two offenses are going to, light it up, or you just go play the safe route and say, you know what, man, I'm betting in a grinding fashion here. I'm betting to earn money. I'm not betting to win money, it's a different, it's a different mentality. So, you can kind of add it in there if you want. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to lean that under, man.
Okay. Well, I'll say I'm not taking a side in this. I'm not taking a over or under because obviously I will be rooting for the Eagles to win. And if it means, I mean, maybe I'd throw out, to take the Eagles, but I'm not going to do that. And if the under or over is going to hit and it means the Eagles can win, then I don't care about it. So that's just like, I don't want to have something riding where I'm like rooting for the under, but it's like, oh wait, I need the Eagles to score a touchdown here. It's going to hit the over. So
yeah, it's like me on bet. I don't bet on Jet games. I don't want to bet on Jets games. I mean, obviously betting against the Jets is usually the way to go, but no, whatever. I mean,
yeah.
I don't need that aspect of it. By the way, that Kelly Green really does make your eyes pop, Servo. You're looking very sharp today. I wish you nothing but the best in this rematch of Super Bowl 57.
Again, we're not going to have Taylor Swift in the building, it looks like. So that's a key part of this. So, all right, let's get to some props then. We gave out our leans on this over-under. And you check out Howard's article on fantasyarm.com. He gives out some of his game bets over there. I'll throw my first prop out here. Jalen Hurts over 8.5 rush attempts for tonight. Obviously, the brotherly shove, the tush push is part of this, and immediately I think you factor in at least 2 attempts that way. But in general, when the Eagles have played close games, expected close games, but also primetime games, he is running more. And you look back at going back to last season, he went over 8.5 rush attempts in 14 of 18 last year, including all 3 playoff games and 4 of 5 primetime matchups. This year, he's been over this mark in 7 of 9 games, including all 3 of the Eagles' primetime games. So it's just been one of those things where when it's prime time, when it's a tight matchup, it happened against the Cowboys, even though that game wasn't a primetime game, Hurts is running more. Scrambles, design runs, he's pulling it back on the RPOs, the QB sneaks. Like he is taking it upon himself to make plays, third down and guys are covered. He's scrambling for those 5 yards and getting it. It's just been one of those trends, and it's cash. So I think 8.5 is just a little too low, especially, against the Chiefs defense that's really good against the pass. So I feel like there's going to be multiple instances where guys are covered, a marquee matchup here where maybe Hurts is like, all right, I'm not going to throw it into coverage and possibly turn it over, possibly throw a pick. I can get these 5-6 yards on a third down and get it that way instead of forcing throws. So, I think he's going to be smart with the ball that way. And, his knee, was an issue, banged up. But I think coming off the bye week, he's going to be fresh that way. And he was even running before, even with the banged up knee, he was still, getting his runs in. So not worried about that. So, yeah, going over 8.5 rushing attempts. Would look at his yards too, but I think it was just a little high for me in I think it was like 45 or something like that, what I saw. But at least taking his rush attempts.
I like it. Listen, their tendencies, what they like to do. So I'm in on that. I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes' over 25.5 rushing yards. He's gone under the last 2 games, but you go back and you look at his game out. First of all, he's gone over this number in 6 games this year already. All right. And you look at the games where he's done it, those teams have had a decent pass rush. Hello, Hassan Reddick. Right. Yeah. I mean, Reddick's going to be in that backfield a ton. They've got a good pass rush there for the Eagles, and Mahomes is just going to take off, and he's going to run a few on his own. He always does. Again, like I said, he's gone over this 6 times this season already. Minus 115. I like this one.
Yeah, listen, he's another guy. I mean, we've talked about this in the past with guys like Josh Allen when it's like a big game. They're looking to run more because they know they can get yards and make plays with their legs. And I just broke it down for Hurts. I think Mahomes is another one that I haven't looked, game to game data, but he's a guy that's he can make plays and he knows it with his legs. And he's an underrated runner too, underrated scrambler. So I'm with you on that one. I like that. On that same kind of idea though, I'm going on the under. I think we might be split on this, but I'm going on the under on Isaiah Pacheco's rushing yards, under 48.5. I look at the Eagles' rush defense, first of all. I mean, the best in the league in terms of allowing yards per game this year, 66 per game total. Against lead running backs this year, only allowing 43 rushing yards per game. Our lead running backs this year, 6 of 9 have been held below this mark here. So even though, guys like Pacheco, who he's been over this in 6 of 9 games this year, and he's averaging 58 rushing yards per game. So I get that part of it. I just see the Eagles rush defense shutting down, opposing running backs. And I think that's going to force the Chiefs, because they've also allowed, I think, the 4th most passing yards per game this year had the Eagles defense. So I think the Chiefs are going to go to the air a lot here, knowing that they can burn them with, the Eagles are terrible against tight ends. So it's going to be a lot of Kelsey, a lot of Noah Gray. But I think that they're going to know they have to win this game with Mahomes, whether it's him running and scrambling, but also I just think through the air, rather than giving it to Pacheco multiple times in a row and him getting shut down, and now they're in a 3rd and long all of a sudden. And I feel like they'd rather do those short yardage passes that they love to do with Kelsey, McKinnon, when they know they can get like 5 yards on a short completion rather than just run it. It's basically like their running play, So yeah, I'm going in the under on Pacheco's rushing yards.
Yeah, I mean, and I can totally understand, why you would do that. Why would you would take that? Just want to shout out, by the way, before I give you my reason for the over. Hi to Britt and hi to Ann Dunn and Snaker. This isn't a fantasy show; it's a betting show. So you can hit some of the other fantasy alarm shows up where they do fantasy there. I will say this: I'm not making that deal. I'm not really making that deal. I don't really know what Hollywood Brown's doing. Jaylen Warren looks great, but I don't know what Hollywood Brown's doing. We don't know about, Walker's injury and how long he's going to be out for. So on the surface, I'll just say no. Yeah, Mile High Luke's in here. It's about winning money. So let me give you my spiel on the under then.
Okay.
Listen, Andy Reid likes the run. He does. He loves having that featured back. In the Super Bowl, you got, 15 carries. 15 carries. Like, he just kept pounding the rock, and Pacheco came up with 76 yards. So, I think that this number's a little on the low side for as much as I think Andy Reid does want to run and will try to run. That's another reason why I think it kind of, slows down some of the pace of the game. Is that, both these teams, I think, are going to try and attack from the ground first before turning this into some like big, fun and gun shootout sort of a thing. So I think he pounds the rock with Pacheco again to come up with the, 49 yards. I like it. I'm also paying a little bit more juice than you. Yours is at -110. Mine's at -120. So, we know which way Vegas is leaning. I'm kind of leaning in that same direction as well. So Pacheco on the over for me. I'm also taking the over on DeAndre Swift. Like, the Chiefs have the 20th best run defense. Ooh, the 20th best. So, and I'm going to take the rushing yards. I looked at the rushing receiving yards for DeAndre Swift. It was like 87.5. And I was like, Chiefs really do have, like, they've got good guys who can stop the run from the outside. So even on the dump off passes there, they still have fast enough cornerbacks and linebackers who can get to there. So I think that we see a little bit more running from DeAndre Swift. So I like the over 57.5 rushing yards for him.
I like that one too. I agree with you. Even though I am on the under on Pacheco's yards, I do agree that both teams are going to try to establish the run early. And this is I took the under when the Eagles played the Dolphins earlier this year with a similar mindset, especially on the Eagles end, trying to establish the run. Keep the ball out of the offense's hands for the Dolphins as much as possible. Control the flow of it. And I feel like they're going to do a similar thing with the Chiefs here. So yeah, I like that Swift one. Looked at Swift's carries number 2. It's at let's see, 13.5 on BetMGM. I've gone over that. I think you have too, like a couple times this year. You've gone over on Swift's like receptions too this year. He's even though Gainwell's involved, he is the guy there when they're looking to get the yards. Colt Gaming, by the way, on YouTube here, chiming in asking about why do I like the under and what are bets. He might be chiming in a little late, but yeah, I took the under on Pacheco's rushing yards because they're facing the number 1 rush defense in the NFL. Eagles holding 6 of 9 running backs under this yardage total. I broke it down, so if you want to rewind just a little bit, but I think the Chiefs offense can be passing a little bit more, especially late in the game after they try to establish this run. Mile High Luke chiming in again here, saying he's fading the Eagles pass defense, I'm assuming, which, yeah, they're allowing the 5th most yards per game through the air, and he's calling for a Rashee Rice breakout. I think you got a Rashee Rice prop, right, Howard?
No, I actually don't have a Rashee Rice prop.
Oh,
I do like Rashee Rice.
I looked at the wrong name there.
I tried to stay away from. It's kind of funny. I was looking at the Chiefs, and like where all the receivers line up. I like to look at like DVOA and see where everybody does, against the individual receiver. But like literally the Chiefs line up everywhere. Rashee Rice is in the slot as much as he's on the left, as much as he's on the right. It's the same thing for Justin Watson, for Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and even Kadarius Toney. These guys line up like, Andy Reid mixes the whole thing up. And, Matt Nagy is in there as his offensive coordinator. And we know that this is like something that Nagy has always liked to do, move these guys around a bunch when you have relatively interchangeable parts. It's not like you have an AJ Brown on there. So, like that's, kind of their whole thing. So I stayed away from receiving props because it's, where the Eagles are actually going to lack. The matchups are so complex that I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I will just say on the Eagles side there, AJ Brown under 80.5 receiving yards. We've seen him contained. All right. Dallas broke his 100-yard game streak that he had going there. We saw the Chiefs contain him last year. I think L'Jarius Sneed is a very underrated cover corner. And I think that, Justin Reed, the safety, is going to float over there and, because they're going to work. Like, and it's funny, I was talking with Britt Flynn earlier today, and she was talking about the fact that, on her picks, that she was on the over here because of the amount of man coverage that the Chiefs use. Like the Chiefs are a lot of man coverage, and that's where AJ Brown excels. So, that was, her rationale for going the other way. I think they contain him in this game. I think because he's a focal point for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm going. AJ Brown under 80.5 receiving yards. And listen, in honor of the fact that Tay, her parents are meeting Travis Kelce's parents for the very first time in the Kelce Skybox at Arrowhead Stadium. I'm going to say that Travis Kelce, an anytime touchdown, it's minus 115. There's very limited value there, but come on.
Yeah, right? They're begging people to
don't hate on love, people. Don't hate on love.
They are begging people to take this, but listen, I think the argument can be made. Taylor Swift won't be in attendance, so Travis Kelce won't score, right? Isn't that how it goes?
You know what? I consulted my Taylor Swift, consigliere, Shannon Blunt of SiriusXM, and she assures me that parents meeting each other for the first time actually could trump the Taylor's not in attendance sort of a thing. That's her vibe. We call her the Shandicapper for a reason. I'm taking the Travis Kelce anytime touchdown bet, not to mention the fact that the Eagles rank dead last in DVOA against the tight end. Yes. And they give up a boatload of points to him.
Yeah. That's why I could see it happening, not for anything Taylor Swift related. By the way, on that note, I was just looking up anytime touchdown odds because I think it's worth taking a little swing at Noah Gray at plus 450, the other tight end for the Chiefs. If the focus is on Kelce and they're double teaming him in the red zone, and
why do you hate Love? Why do you even float that out there?
They have double tight end looks.
Are you that grizzled a veteran of being married that you're hating on Love like this, dude? It's terrible. It's terrible.
That is not the case at all. By the way, Rob Vandekreek in the chat here says, thanks to both of you and the rest of the Alarm family for taking care of my Christmas presents this season. Love that, Rob. He misses Howard, the GM, and Shan Blunt on SiriusXM. I miss working that show. I used to be a producer for them, but but yeah, thank you, Rob, for chiming in there, and you're welcome. It's not just us; you guys are a part of this too. For interacting like that, for helping us be better as
amen to that, dude. Give me some knuckles on that one, sir.
I'm on the right way. Oh.
There you go. Bink.
We had Mystic Colt Gaming again here. Cut Kelce over under 78 receiving yards in this game. What do you think about that one?
I'm kind of leaning on the under. But I don't. Again, There's a reason that I'm only taking the anytime touchdown. I'm not taking any of Kelsey's other props at all. I don't like it. The numbers are very comparable of where they should be, So, I would probably, I don't want to. I think that it's not a great situation. I mean, listen, again, the Eagles are terrible at covering the tight end. They don't cover the tight end well at all. Is this 100-yard game for Kelsey? Maybe it is. But again, I'm not 100%. Maybe they focus in on him that much. Everybody's looking at this Rashee Rice breakout game. If you're looking for a Rashee Rice breakout game, then you're kind of fading Kelsey a little bit. Maybe not. But I mean, again, this is not, I don't see this being like the game that Mahomes is throwing, chucking it for 300 yards. I think the Eagles are going to, kind of try and put a clamp on it a little bit. So I'm staying away from all Chiefs receiving props.
Okay.
All of them. But, again, the anytime touchdown for Kelsey is because I love love.
All right. That's that. All right. So, the total, by the way, looking on BetMGM, it's at 46, but 45.5. It's been going back and forth here. So, whatever numbers you can get it at, 2.5, still the spread. We'll see if that changes by the time kickoff comes. We got a few hours until then, but those are some of our picks for Monday Night Football. Again, go check out Howard's Best Bets article over on Fantasy Alarm. We got sleeper picks from Britt Flynn. We got underdog picks from myself. We got NFL DFS Showdown playbook up on there. So get all this with the all pro.
Yeah, we got 20 shit up there, man.
Ton of stuff. That. And again, the Bettorcast tonight for Eagles Chiefs. If you haven't already, download the Bettorcast app, Apple app, Google Play stores. Download the app and you can answer pregame questions live. You can answer in-game questions live. The more questions you get right, you can redeem them for tickets, and you can redeem those for real NFL merchandise. It's awesome stuff. So the Bettorcast, formerly the Bendercast, but the Bettorcast tonight for Eagles Chiefs should be awesome. And Dunn here on the chat here asking over/under AJ Brown 80.5 receiving yards. Howard broke that down. He's going under on AJ Brown's receiving yards tonight. So I do think, at least from the Eagles side, probably from both teams, but it's going to be, it's a balanced offenses on both sides, So maybe some of these props are probably a little too high because people are like, oh, let's root for offense in general overall, especially AJ Brown with how good he's been. But I feel like the Chiefs are going to really focus on limiting him, force other guys to beat them, especially with Dallas Goedert out. It's basically Devontae Smith as the proven other guy besides AJ Brown. So I like that call for sure. Got some college basketball tonight. We got games going on now. Really good games throughout the day, throughout this whole week. It's feast week, as they call it in college basketball. And I got a few picks here, if you don't mind, Howard, for me to throw out.
I don't mind, but what I do want is I want like specific picks. Like when I was growing up,
I give anything else besides specific picks?
Well, I mean, listen, I like to at least like put requests in, right? I mean, you're like a betting DJ right now. So I want to, like, when I was growing up, I mean, there was so much crazy talk about, this kid at UCLA named Lou Alcindor. And then Lou Alcindor changed his name one day to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he went on to have an amazing career. So if I'm going to request a game that I'm going to bet on tonight, you're going to have to give me like a UCLA pick here.
Okay. It's not going to be on UCLA though. I gotta admit,
I'm okay with that.
I will all right. So this game, Marquette UCLA. This is the nightcap. We got
all right.
This game's tipping off at like 11:30 tonight. It's going to be 11:30 Eastern. So after Monday Night Football's over, you can watch this game. Give me Marquette and the points here. 6.5 is the spread on BetMGM. I look at, so this early part of the season, we got a few weeks now into the season, a couple weeks, and you can really see which teams have actually played real competition so far and which teams have not at all yet. UCLA has not played anybody yet. They've played 3 of the worst D1 teams in the country, and they're just not proven yet, because this is a team that replaced four of their 5 starters from last year and 5 of their top 6 overall players from last year's team. Their center, Ed Mbona, is the only guy, back from last year who was not one of their top scorers last year anyway. But they lost, their seniors, their main guys, Jaime Jaquez, Tiger Campbell, Jalen Clark. Like, those were their core from this UCLA team, especially from the team that, went to the Final Four a few years ago. This is a completely new look team, and they're incorporating a lot of freshmen, a lot of international freshmen as well. I think it's getting a little bit of transition until we see exactly what UCLA is. And Marquette on the other side is a team, we know what they are. They are a Final Four contender. They were last year. Bring back basically their entire team from last year, including the Big East Player of the Year, Tyler Kolek. And this is a team that's going to, I think, just own this game against UCLA, because we have yet to see UCLA play anybody of note. Marquette has already proved it on the road. They went and beat Illinois. Really impressed by that win. And now this is, a neutral court setting, but I think they're just a tier above UCLA right now, in my opinion. So yeah, the -6.5 is where I'm going there.
Cool. All right.
All right.
You should probably just roll through these picks, because I don't know
2 more quickies.
Squat about college hoops. So I'm not gonna. It's not like you're gonna wrap up and I'm gonna be like, no, Servo, wait a minute. These guys are terrible from the perimeter. Because in all honesty, I don't know how they are from the perimeter.
Yeah, Howard, give me your rebuttal. That's what I want to hear.
I can't fight with you on this, man. Make these picks, baby.
All right, I got 2 more real quick ones. Virginia on the money line, -155 on BetMGM, playing Wisconsin. Another situation where we've seen both these teams play other good teams so far. Wisconsin has lost by double digits to Tennessee and Providence. Virginia is probably just as good as Tennessee or slightly below, but they've played one good team, and they beat Florida. Already proved that. So I just have UVA, again, a better proven team than Wisconsin, Wisconsin's defense, it cost them against both Tennessee and Providence. I think it's going to cost them again here, because UVA is very efficient. Some really, solid returners from last year, but this is also a team that's one of the best defenses in the country, so they're going to be buttoned up on that side. And they have I think the big advantage in the backcourt for sure. I think that's going to be the difference maker in this spot, with Reese Beekman and Ryan Dunn just kind of taking over a Wisconsin team that, again, has not been proven. That they've lost by double digits to Tennessee and Providence, the only 2 good teams they've played. So I'm taking Virginia on the money line. It's rich, but I think the spread's like 2.5, 3. But you can take that, but I'd rather just get the money line, because I could see it being like a 1-point win or something. And then the last one, St. Joseph's playing Kentucky in a little non-conference game here. Not a tournament game, but just a non-con. And I think both teams are going to be looking to play fast here, because that's what they do this year. One of the top tiers in terms of pace and tempo this year. And Kentucky games this year, they're going to be high scoring all season long, because their front court depth and defense is not good. They're dealing with a few notable injuries and absences. So their depth overall isn't good, but this is a team filled with freshmen who are really good offensively, love to make offensively, love to play fast, but their defense is still not up to par here. So we saw it against Kansas. That game was back and forth, very high scoring. Every team they play is just going to have to match them, and they're going to allow people to play fast and match them. So taking the over here in this game, over 152.5, I think is the total on BetMGM. Yep. But St. Joe's, it isn't the best team, but again, I think it's just the vibe of Kentucky's games this year. They're going to be fast paced. They're going to be a lot of threes shot. There's going to be a lot of, not a lot of defense on their side. So yeah, give me the over in this game.
And that's sounds good, baby. I'll throw it down on those.
All right, so that's about it for us. We gave out some money to football bets. Kind of recapped how we did on Friday's show with our bets for week 11. If you missed any of it, go back and rewind here on YouTube, and like and subscribe there as well. As always, that helps us out. getting more eyeballs on this. Love the interaction in the chat today. We always love that. Throw your own bets. Ask us for our thoughts on your own bets and picks. Wednesday show, me and Howard will be back. We'll be back tomorrow, me and John and Pemba, talking some betting and different stuff. But Wednesday show, Howard will be back with me, and we're giving out our Thanksgiving Day bets because we got to get those bets in before Thursday's game. So to come back there with your own picks and thoughts on those games, and we'll see you then. Again, tonight we got the Bettor Cast going on at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Eagles Chiefs here. And then 5 p.m. Eastern tonight, right after this show, NBA DFS Live with John and Pemba and James Grande on the Bettor Sports Network, Fantasy Alarms apps on YouTube. 9 p.m. Eastern, we got Monday Night Rants with Edward Rouse as well on Bettor Sports Network and Fantasy Alarms. So tune in all night. Fantasy, football, betting, NBA, all of it. We got you guys covered. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, here on Bettor Sports Betting. Good luck and take care.
Bettor Sports Betting on the Bettor Sports